Hello guys, welcome to another video. This one is paper 2-1 of November 2013. So let's move on to question number 1. So here we have the rate of exchange between dollars and pounds is given to you by this equation. Now, the rate of exchange between euros and pounds is given to you by this equation. So part 1, Amy changes 300 pounds into dollars. So pounds to dollars is pounds to dollars. So we know that 1 pound is equal to $156. So now she changes 300 pounds. So 300, that will be equal to 300 times 1.56. So that should be pretty easy. That should be 468. So your answer in part 1 will be 468 exactly. Now for part 2, Ben changes 770 into pounds. So euros into pounds, we have to use this equation. So euros into pounds. So we know that 1.1 euros is equal to 1 pound. So now we have to find 770, that is 1 divided by 1.1 times 770. So let's find the answer. 1 divided by 1.1 times 770. That will be 700. So your answer for part 2 will be 700 pounds. Now finally, Chris changes $780 into euros. So for this rate, we have to do this. If you observe, here we have pounds, here we have 1 pound. So we can replace these two in each other. So you will have $156 is equal to 1.1 euros. So we have to use this to find this answer. So we know that $1.56 is equal to 1.1 euros. So now we have to find how much is 780. That will be 1.1 divided by 1.56 times 780. So let's do that. So 1.1 divided by 1.56 times 780. That will be 550. Okay, so that will be your answer for part number 3. 550 euros. Now let's move on to part B. Debbie changed some dollars, so we don't know how much, into yen. The rate of exchange was $81 to 1 yen when she changed the dollars. Now Emma changed the same number of dollars into yen. The exchange rate for Emma was 82 to 1 yen. Now this is the main part. Emma received 3 fewer yen than Debbie. So given that the number of dollars changed is x, find the value of x. So we have to find one by one. So let's begin with Debbie. So number 1 is Debbie. We know that $81 is equal to 1 yen. Debbie changed x dollars. It is equal to 1 divided by 81 times x, which is x over 81 yen. So Debbie received this much yen. Now same steps, we can find how much yen does Emma receive. So the rate of exchange is 82 to 1. So we know that $82 is equal to 1 yen. Now x dollars will be 1 over 82 times x. That will be x over 82 yen. Now since we have those two now, we have to use this information. Emma received 3 fewer yen than Debbie. So basically, if you do Debbie minus Emma, it should give you 3 yen. So same way we do, let me use a different color. So if you do Debbie is this much, x over 81 minus Emma should give you 3 yen. Now we can just solve for the value of x. The first step is we have to simplify on this side. So as you observe, the base are different, so we have to find the LCM by doing 81 times 82. That will be 6642. Then we have to cross multiply 82x minus 81x equal to 3. So now we know 82 minus 81, that will be 1, which is x over 6642 equal to 3. So x is equal to times 3, which is 19,926. So the value for x will be 19,926. And that will be your question number 1. Okay, so now let's move on to question number 2. This one seems to be a locus question, so I need more space to draw the locus of the questions. Now it says construct the triangle ABC in which BAC is 40 and AC is 8 centimeters. Now it says C is a point above the line AB. So AB is here, C will be above AB. Okay, now first point is BAC. So BAC will be 40 degrees. So we first have to measure the angle 40 degrees from the point A. So BAC, so that will be 40. 40 will be right here. That is 40. Okay, so basically A joining to that point, that will be, so C will be lying on this line. Now second information is we have AC is 8 centimeters. So let's measure 8 centimeters. So we can do this by using your compass, or you can use your ruler directly. So 8 centimeters will be, so if you do it this way, so 8 will be about this point. Or you can use a compass to draw an arc, and then you can connect it. So for me, it shows to be at this point, which is 8 centimeters. So I will join the line B to this point to form my triangle ABC. So this is your point C. So A, B, and C as your triangle. That is part 1. Now for part B, construct the locus of all the points outside of the triangle that are 2 centimeters from the perimeter of the triangle. So now we have to draw the locus of the points outside of the triangle, which is 2 centimeters from the perimeter of the triangle. So first step, let's measure the length of 2 centimeters using your compass. So here we have 2 centimeters. Now you have to go to every point and draw a semicircle, which is outside of the triangle. So make sure your pencil is sharp for that, because it needs to be exact in value. So go to your point C as well. And now go to your point A. Same steps. So you will end up with a shape like this for now. Now you have to connect the points on the circumference, which is exactly, so let's mark this point. This will be 2 centimeters, as you can see. It will be right here. This will be right here. You can join those two. So same steps. Let's mark those exactly 2 centimeters. That should be in this direction. And this will be the same as well. So let's mark those on the surface of the circle. For A, it needs to be parallel to this line, so make sure that it is parallel to this line. Okay, here you go. And finally for this one, same steps, so make sure it's parallel to this line. It needs to be on the outside, touching the circle. Okay, so let's join those two. Okay, so as you can see, we have these lines, which is outside of the triangle, but 2 centimeters away. So make sure that this is also your blue color. I cannot draw a circle with my pen, obviously, so you have to connect these two properly, these ones and these ones. And for those ones, you can just for the inside part, you can just erase it, because that is not important. It just needs to be joining on the outside as circles, and for the lines, it has to be parallel lines, which is 2 centimeters away from these lines. So basically remaining you will have a shape like this, which will be, so we have this joining outside of this triangle, that will be your locus, which represents the part B. Now for part C, find and label the point P inside of the triangle that is 6.5 from A and equidistant from B and C. So first thing is 6.5 from A, so we can first measure 6.5 from A. Let's do that. So you will have 6.5 will be about right here. Should be inside of the triangle. So make sure it's inside of the triangle. Okay. So make sure your pencil is sharp because it needs to be exactly 6.5 from A. Now other condition will be it needs to be equidistant from B and C, so it has to be the bisector, the perpendicular bisector of B and C. So let's do that. You have to go to your point B. First thing, we have to measure distance more than half, and then we draw an arc on this side, arc on this side. Next step, with the same distance, go to your point C, intersect both arcs on both sides. So you will have, this is your point C, okay, here you go, right here and right here. So now we have to join those 2 points. You can see here is a point of intersection, and here we also has a point of intersection. So you're joining these two, but it has to be inside of your triangle. As you can see, this will be the point where they meet. This is your arc, which is 6.5 from point A, and this is the line which is equidistant from B and C. So they meet at this point. So find and label the point P. So this will be your point P. Okay, that will be question number 2. Okay, so let's move on to question number 3. The line AB joins the points A and join the point B. Part 1, find the midpoint of AB. So this one we can use the formula, which is midpoint is x1 plus x2, that will be 4 over 2. Then we have y1 plus y2, that will be 6, and then divide by 2. You will have 2, 3. Now for part B, find the gradient of AB. So same steps. We have to use the formula. y2 minus y1, that will be 4. x2 minus x1, that will be 8, which is 1 over 2. Now for part C, AB intersects the y-axis at the point this. Find the value of C. So what is the equation of line of AB? So let's first find the equation of AB. So we know the gradient. We know, let's take a point. Let's take the point A, which is minus 2 and 1. That will be x and y. So we can do y minus 1 over x minus minus. That will become plus 2 equal to half, which is the gradient. Now we can just cross multiply. You will have 2y minus 2 equal to x plus 2. Now let's rewrite this. You will have 2y equal to x plus 4. Now it says the y-axis at the point, this is your point x, this is your point y. Now the next step is you have to replace this in the equation. At the value of x equal to 0, you have 2y equal to 0 plus 4. So y becomes 2. So the value of y is c. So c is equal to 2. Now for part D, express AB as a column vector. So AB is equal to OB minus OA. OB is given to you by 6, 5, and AB is given to you by minus 2, 1. That will be 6 minus minus 2, that will be 8. 5 minus 1, that will be 4. This is AB. Now for part E, we have C is a point 5, 2, and D is a point HK. Now, the lines AB and CD are equal in length and they are parallel. So this is very interesting, right? Because they are equal in length, also parallel to each other. find the coordinates of each of the possible points of D. So first we have to find CD. So CD is equal to OD minus OC. OD will be HK and OC will be 5, 2. So that will equal to H minus 5 and K minus 2. So this is your value for CD. So let's say now we have AB. AB is 8, 4. So let's say AB is in this direction. This is AB. So since CD is also parallel, this is parallel, it will also be in this direction. CD. Since they are the same direction, they must have the same kind of vector for this one. But the point is they have the same length, which means the values inside has to be the same as well because they have the same length. So which means you will have H, so 8, 4 is equal to the same value. It has H minus 5 and K minus 2. Now, this is one of the possibilities. Parallel can also mean we have direction CD. It can also be in this direction. So it can be plus or minus. Okay, so let's solve this. So for first one we have, let's take plus first. So we have 8 equal to H minus 5. So you will have value of H as, this is the first point, so H will be 8 plus 5, that will be 13. And the value of K, 4 equal to K minus 2, K will be 6. So the first one will be 13 and 6. Now for the other values, you can have minus now, so 8 equal to minus H plus 5. So H is equal to 5 minus 8 will be minus 3. Now same steps, K equal to 4 equal to minus K plus 2. So K is equal to, you send K over here, you will have 2 minus 4 will be minus 2. So the other point will be minus 3 H and minus 2. So these will be the two possible values for this point D. And that will be your question number 3. So let's move on to question number 4. The table shows the distribution of masses of 100 babies. Now the mass, here we have groups of mass, which is X, and the number of babies is your frequency. Part 1, write down the model class. So for model class, we have to find the maximum frequency. So if you see, maximum will be 25. 25, the class will be 3.5 between X, so that'll be 4. That will be your model class. Now part B, for this part of the question, we have to use this graph. Now, using a scale of 4 centimeter for 1 kg, draw from 1 to 5. So pretty easy. So let's use our pen. I'll use a different color. So on the x-axis, we have to draw from 1 to 5. That's your horizontal axis. Don't forget to label this as x. It is from 1 to 5. So 1 is right here. It says to use 4 centimeters for 1 kg, so we have to count. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. That will be 2. That will be 3, 4, and exactly 5. Now we have to draw for the vertical axis. The vertical axis will be for your frequency, which is number of babies. Label this as number of babies. Now it needs to be 2 centimeters for 5 babies from 0 to 30. So 2 centimeters will be right here. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. Okay, so that will be the y-axis. So now we have to plot the frequency polygon for this table. So how do you find the frequency? How do you draw this? So first step is you have to find the midpoints of each group. So let's call x the midpoint. So you have to add these two values, which is 1.5 plus 2 divided by 2. That will be 1.75. So same way, let's do for the rest. Here you will have 2.25, 2.75, 3.25, 3.75, 4.25, and here you have 4.75. Now we can draw these polygon, frequency polygon. So first point is 1.253. So 1.25 will be right here. 3 will be 1, 2, 3. Then we have 2.25, 12. 2.25, 12 will be 1, 2, right here. Then we have 2.75 will be 20, right here. Then we have 3.25 will be 24, okay, right here. And then we have 3.75 will be 25. Then we have 4.25 will be 14. 14 will be just below 15. And finally we have 4.75, 2. 2 will be right here. So now we can join all the points by straight lines. So let's do that. So here we have this line, this line, this, and this. And this. So this will be your frequency polygon for this part B, for this table. Now let's move on to part C. Complete the cumulative frequency table below. So pretty easy. We have to use this table to find these values. So first thing is less than 2 will be 3. Less than 2.5 will be on this side, which is 12 plus 3, 15. Less than 3 will be on this side, 15 plus 20, that should be 35. Less than 3.5 will be all this, which is 24 plus this, that will be 59. Less than 4 will be on this side, which is 59 plus 25. That should be 84. And less than 4.5 will be on this side, we have to add 14 plus this, that should be 98. And check, 2 plus this should give you 100, which is 100 babies. Now, since we have the table now, we can draw your cumulative frequency curve. So first one will be, this is your x, this is just like your x and your y, so we have to find these points. First point is 2, 3, so 2 will be here. 3 is 1, 2, 3. Then we have 2.5, 15. Then we have 3 will be 35. Then we have 3.5 will be 59. 4 will be 84. 4.5 will be 98. And 5 will be 100. So now we have to join all these points by a smooth curve. So try your best to draw a smooth curve for that, for those points. So this will be right here. Okay, mine is not too bad. It's okay. But if you use a pencil, it should be better than this. At least pretty very smooth. That should be your graph for part 2. Now part D, use your curve to estimate the median mass. So median is pretty easy. We have to do half of the 100 babies. That should give you the 50th value. So now you have to go to your y-axis. You have to draw a line. You have to cut your curve and you have to draw the corresponding vertical line to find your corresponding value of mass. That will be, this is 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.35. So for me the median will be 3.35 kg. Now for part 2, find the 10th percentile. Pretty easy. That should be 10% times the number of babies, which is 100. That should be the 10th value. So same steps. Go to 10. You have to draw a line and you have to find the corresponding value. That should be about here, which is 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. So your 10th percentile, according to my graph, is 2.3 kg. And that is your question number 4. So let's move on to question number 5. So here we have to solve this equation. So we have to find the value of x. So as always, when you have a fraction, you can do cross multiply. You will have 2 equal to 3 minus x. So x will be 3 minus 2. That is 1. X is equal to 1. Now part B, we have to factorize this one. So let's take out 5. You will have x plus y. That is pretty easy. X plus y. Now for this one, you observe, we know that 9 is equal to 3 power 2 and 16 is equal to 4 power 2. Now let's replace these values back in your equation. You will have 3x power 2 minus 4 power 2. Now this is just like a squared minus b squared, which is equal to 3x plus 4 and then 3x minus 4, right? That will be your answer for part 2. Now for part C, factorize this equation. So we have to add 2 brackets. And then here we have 2x. So 2x is 2x times x, so 2x squared. That will be this. And what are the factors of 12? We know 12 is 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. So which one can we choose to put in this place? So here we need plus 5. We can use this one. We put 4 here and we put 3 here. So 2x times 4 is, so times plus 4 will be plus 8. So 2x times plus 4 will be plus 8 minus 3, that will be plus 5. So your answer will be 2x minus 3, x plus 4. Now for part 2, use your answer for part 1 to solve this equation. So pretty easy. That will become 2x minus 3, x plus 4 is equal to 0. So you have 2x minus 3 equal to 0. So x will be 3 over 2. X plus 4 is equal to 0. X will be minus 4. So your answer will be minus 4, or it can be 1.5, or 3 over 2 is fine as well. Let's move on to part D. A source of light is observed from a distance of d meters. Okay? The amount of light received, L, is inversely proportional to the square of distance. Distance is d, so here we have L is inversely proportional to d square, which is L equal to k over d square. Now given that L is 9 when d equal to 2, so L is 9 when d is equal to 2, d square will be 4, which means k is equal to 36. So now your equation will be L is equal to 36 divided by d square. So find the value of L when d equal to 3. L is equal to 36 divided by 3 square. That will be 36 divided by 9. That should be 4. So L will be 4. And that is your question number 5. So let's move on to question number 6, part A. In the triangle ABC, so we have A, B, and C. ABC is equal to 90, so ABC is 90. ACB is 50, and BC equal to 31. And D is the point on AC such that BDA is equal to 90, as you can see right here. Now for part 1, show that CD equal to 19.93. So where is CD? CD will be this side. If this is 90, this also has to be 90. Now if you observe, we have triangle DBC as a right angle triangle. We know this side, we have to find this side. So we can use SOHCAHTOA. So SOHCAHTOA. So here we have this side, which is your hypotenuse, so H, and we have to find this side, which is your adjacent. So we have to use cos. So cos of the angle of 50 is equal to adjacent side, which is CD, divided by 31. So from this you will have CD is equal to 31 cos of 50. That will be, so let's use degrees. So that will be 19.926. Now correct to 2 decimal places, that will become 19.93 meters. This is shown as required. Let's move on to part 2. Calculate AD. So where's AD? AD will be this length. So how would you find the length of AD? Let's think. Right now we know this is 19. This is 19.93. So if you observe, we also have a triangle ABC, which is also a right angle triangle. We know this angle, we know this side, and we are trying to find this side. So by observation, you can see that AD is equal to AC minus DC. DC, we know it's 19.93, so we have to find AC. So how would you find AC? We can use this big triangle, use SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. So here we have this side, that will be your A side, and we have to find this side, that will be your hypotenuse. So we have to use cos again. So cos of the angle, which is 50, is equal to 31 divided by AC. From this you will have AC is equal to 31 divided by cos of 50. That will be 48.223. Now, as you have seen from the formula, AD is AC minus DC. So AD will be AC minus DC, which is this one. Let's see what value do we get. That will be 48.23 minus 19.93. That should give you 28.3. So correct your 3SF, that will be 28.3. So AD, let's write this here, 28.3. Let's move on to part B. So now we have two boats at the points P and Q. So P and Q are two boats. OS is a vertical cliff of height 52. This is the height 52. Now P as Q is 10, so this is 10, and Q as R is 55. Okay, let's see what can we derive. So as you can see, we have triangle SQR. So what is this angle? You would say this will be the third angle of the triangle, which is 180 minus 90 minus 55. That should be 35. So if this is 35, what is this one? We would say that will be 180 minus 35. That will be 145. Okay, question part 1 is to find the angle of depression of P from S. So let's find the angle of depression. So angle of depression, that will be, we have to draw a horizontal line, and this will be your angle of depression. Let's call this one angle alpha. But if you observe, this is 90. So this is 55, this is 10. This will be the remaining angle. So 90 minus 10 minus 55, that will be 25. So this will be 25 degrees. That will be your angle of depression of P from S, which is 25 degrees. Now for part 2, calculate the distance PQ between the boats. So here we have to find PQ. So if this is 25, this also has to be 25. Okay. So next step is, how would you find the distance PQ? So there should be a few steps. Let's observe what can we do first. So for now we know this side is 52, and we can first find this side. So PQ is equal to PR minus QR, right? So PQ is PR minus QR. So we can first find the value of, let's say we want to find QR. So how would you find the value of QR? But that is one way of doing that. Let me think. We can also do other way. So if you observe, we can first find QS. So let's do that. Let's first find the value of QS. So you will see what I'm doing soon. So let's first find the value of QS. As you can see, we have angle 55. This is our side. We can use SOHCAHTOA. 3. This is your adjacent side, so you mark A. This is your hypotenuse, so H. So QS, we have to use cos of the angle 55 equal to 52 over QS. From this, you will have QS is equal to 52 divided by cos of 55. That will be 90.659. Right. So let's write this down here. 90.659. Now, we know this side and we know this angle. And we know this angle, we are trying to find this side. So we can use your sine rule, right? Let's say, so your equation will be, I will write this here. So this side will be 90.659 over sine of the angle 25 is equal to this side, which is PQ, we don't know, over sine of 10. So let's solve PQ for this equation. So let's write this down here. PQ is equal to 90.659 sine of 10 divided by sine of 25. That will be 37.3. Correct to 3SF. That will be your answer for question part B of number 6. Let's move on to question number 7, part A. In the triangle ABC, D is the point on BC such that AD bisect BAC. So when you see bisect, so AD bisect BAC, this means these two angles are the same. This is bisects. Now E is a point on AB such that AE equal to AC. Okay, these two are the same. That's good to know. And what else do we need to know? So part 1, show that triangles AED, so AED, and triangle ACD are congruent. So pretty easy. So we have to prove, I think, 3 points. So the first one we can prove is, we can say that AE is equal to AC. This is according to question. Now the second point we can say AD is equal to AD, which is common in both triangles. This is the same length in both triangles. And part 3, you can say angle EAD is equal to angle DAC. According to question again, because it says bisects this angle. Now since you have proven these 3 points, you will say by SAS triangles AED and ACD are congruent. So now you might ask, what is SAS? SAN means side. So as you can see, the side and the angle in between, the corresponding side, angle and side, as you can see, the angle is in between, they are the same. By proving these two sides are the same and the angle in between is the same as well, you prove that these two triangles are congruent. That is part 1. Now for part 2, given that ABX is X, so ABD is X. So ABD, this one is X, and EDB is Y, and ACB is Z. We have to find X in terms of Y and Z. Find the value of X. So how would you find that? Let's observe to see what's possible. So as you observe, this will be your third angle of the triangle, which is, if you will do that, you can find this by 180 minus X minus Y. This is your angle, this, right? Now what is this angle right here? Let's use a different color. So this angle is equal to what? Is equal to 180 minus this one. You will have x plus y. Now if this is x plus y, this also has to be x plus y. So you mean z is equal to x plus y. The reason why it's the same is because these two are the same and these two sides are the same as well, and these angles are the same. That's why this angle and this angle are the same. So z is equal to x plus y. So finally we have this equation. So x is equal to z minus y. That will be expressing x in terms of y and z. So as always, as you can see, we always find the angles step by step. So just to re-explain, so since we have x here and y here, we have triangle BED. The third angle will be 180 minus this minus this. Now, BA is a straight line, so this angle here has to be 180. So this is this angle. So what is this one? This has to be 180 minus this angle, which is 180 minus x minus y, which gives you x plus y. So this is x plus y. Now, since this side and this side are the same, and we know that this side and this side are the same because they are congruent, this angle has to be equal to this angle. So this is x plus y. So z is equal to x plus y. So x is equal to z minus y. That will be your question part 2 of 7a. Now let's move on to part B. So here we have in triangle PQR, so PQR, QS bisects PQR, so QS bisects PQR means that these two angles are the same. Now we have RS bisects PRQ, so these two angles are the same as well. Okay, now it says PQR is 42, so PQR is 42, and PRQ is 54. So what is the size of one of them? So one of them will be equal to 21, and one of them will be equal to 27. Question is, find the reflex angle QSR. So QSR, we have to find the reflex angle. So what is a reflex angle? As we know, reflex angle is between which and which. It is more than 180 but less than 360. So it will be this angle. Okay, so first we can find this angle. So this is 21, this is 27. This has to be the third angle of a triangle. That will be 132, and this will be 360 minus 132. That will be 228. So the answer here will be 228 for your reflex angle QSR. And this is your question number 7. So let's move on to question number 8, part A. Now we have, in this diagram, the circles have a center O. Okay, AB is a chord of the larger circle and also a tangent to the smaller circle. So tangent means it touches the circle at one point. If you were to join the point to the center O, it means that this angle here has to be 90 and 90. This is because AB is a tangent to your small circle. That's why it is 90. Okay, great. Now AB is 14. This is 14, and we have the radius of the larger circle is 10. This is 10, which means if you were to join O to B and O to A, these two also radius of the, this is 10, also has to be 10. Right. Now question, we have to find the radius of the smaller circle. So how would you find the radius of the smaller circle? So as you can see, this distance to this point will be the radius of the smaller circle. So we have to find this value of r. So how can we do this? So this is 14, and these two are the same length of 10 and 10, which means these two are the same. So let's take out one triangle. Let's take out this triangle we have. Let's name this point the point X. So we have X, B, and O. Let's call this one X. Let's call this point X. This is your point B, and this is your point O. O to B is 10, and this is 90, and X to B is 7. Because it is half of 14, that will be 7. So we have to find OX, which is your radius. So you can find this by using the Pythagoras theorem. So pretty easy. So r squared plus 7 squared is equal to 10 squared. So r squared will be 100 minus 49. That will be 51. So from here you will have r is equal to square root of 51. That is 7.14. So radius will be 7.14, correct to 3SF of the smaller circle. Now part B. In the diagram, PS, so PQ and RS are chords of a circle that intersect at the point T. Now we have to show that triangles PST, so PST, and triangles RQT are similar. So one way of showing triangles are similar is by showing that all the corresponding angles are the same. So let's do that. The first thing you can say is that angle here and this angle are the same. So first point is angle STP is equal to angle QTR because they are vertically opposite to each other. So when they are opposite to each other, they are the same. Now you can also say these two are the same, but we want to find these two. So these two are the same. They are opposite to each other. That is part 1. Now part 2, you can say this angle is equal to this angle. So PST is equal to RQT because they are angle on the same chord. You say angle on, you can say arc PS, no PR, sorry, PR. And finally, this one is equal to this one. So angle SPT is equal to angle QST because this is the third angle of a triangle. That's why, because of these 3 reasons, we have PST and RQT are similar. That is part B of your question. Now let's move on to part 2. Now this one is the same triangles inside of a circle. We have all these sides given to us. So this is 5, this is 11, this is X, and let's see what question do we have. It says, given that PQ is 18, so where's PQ? So this big length is 18. So if PQ is 18 and this is X, so what is PT? PT will be 18 minus X, right? That is, by derivation, you have PT will be 18 minus X. That is your first part. Now, we have to show that X satisfies this equation. So how can you form an equation for this diagram? We have to use your answer for part 1, because now we know that these two triangles are similar. We have to use similarity or proportionality to find an equation in terms of X. Now, we know these two angles are the same, so these two are the sides, right? So we would say for this triangle, we can write 11 over 18 minus X. Now, next step, we know that this angle and this angle are the same from part 1, so this side and this side, right? So we can write equal to this triangle first. So sorry, 11 was on top, for this small one. So we take the same part, which small one will be x on top. So the reason why x is on top, because we begin with this small triangle first, so that's why we have to put x on top, 11 on top. Divide by, this side will be 5. As you can see, we have an equation in terms of x. We can solve to find this one. So let's try. The first step is to cross multiply. You will have 55 equal to 18x minus x squared. So we can rearrange. You will have x squared minus 18x plus 55 equal to 0. This is shown as required. Now for part 3, solve this equation correct to 1 decimal place. So let's do that. So we have to use the formula. So x is equal to minus b plus minus b squared minus 4 times a times c divided by 2a, which is 2. Now the first value will be 18 plus, so what is 18 squared minus 4 times 1 times 55? That will be root of 104 divided by 2. X can also be 18 minus 104 divided by 2. So first value will be minus 18 minus root of 104 divided by 2. That will be 3.9, correct to 1 decimal place. And for this one will be 18 plus root of 104 divided by 2. That will be 14.1, correct to 1 decimal place. So these will be the two values of your x. Now for part this one, find the difference between the length of PT and TQ. So what is PT? PT is this one. So PT is equal to 18 minus x. So we have to choose your value of x. So x is this one. As you can see, x cannot be bigger than PT according to your diagram. So you have to choose this value as your x. So x is equal to 3.9, or it can be x equal to 14.1, right? But we cannot choose this value because, as you can see from here, x cannot be bigger than this. X have to be smaller than this value. So we choose x as 3.9. So PT will be 18 minus 3.9. That is 14.1. Now that is PT, and we have to find the length of TQ. So TQ is just x, which is 3.9, and question is we have to find the difference between them. So let's do that. What is 14.1 minus 3.9? That will be 10.2. So your answer will be 10.2 centimeters. And this is your question number 8. Now question number 9. The number of bacteria in a colony trebles every hour. Trebles means times 3 every hour, so 1 hour, right? So 1 hour times 3. 1 hour times 3. 1 hour times 3. And 1 hour times 3 as well. So what is 1350 times 3? That should give you 4050. Now for part A done. Now for part B, we have to plot this point to draw a smooth curve. So pretty easy, let's do that. So let's plot all these points on this graph. So the first point we have will be 0, 50. So 0 is here, 50 will be the first square. Then we have 150 will be right here. Then we have 2 will be 450, should be right now. 2.5 will be 780. That is 750, will be just before this one. That will be 3, 1350. This is 1250, 13, 1350. Then we have 3.5 will be 2340, 2250, 23, 2340 will be right here, and 0.4 will be 4050. 4050 will be right here. So as you can see, we have all these points. We have to join this by using a smooth curve. So it is very important you draw your curve correctly because your answer depends on your curve, okay? So make sure that it is smooth as possible. So I'm using a pen, so I'm not too sure what can I do? But I'll try my best to make it as smooth as possible. So that will be this, and this is almost done. Okay, so here we go. That should be, okay, that should be my curve. That will be my question, part B, done. Now part C, use your graph to find the number of bacteria when t equal to 3.2. So pretty easy. You have to go 3.2, so 3.2 will be, this is 3.1, 3.2 will be right here. Let's find the corresponding number of bacteria. So you have to draw a line where you cut your curve, and you have to draw another line to find the corresponding value of bacteria. So that will be right here, which is 1, 2, 3, which is about, I would say, 1650 according to my graph. Now part D, by drawing a tangent, estimate the gradient when t equal to 2.5. So t equal to 2.5 will be right here. So let's draw a tangent to this point. That should be about, I think this point should be about this. So let's choose 2 points. The first point that I can use will be this one, which is 1.5, 0. And I can use, let's say I use this point, which is 3. And this is 1, 2, 3, which is 1150. So since I have 2 points, I can find the gradient by using my formula. So the first point is 1.50, and that one will be 3, 1150. So that will be m y2 minus y1, which is this, minus 0, over x2 minus x1, that will be 3 minus 1.5. So 1150 minus 0 divided by 1.5. That should be 767, correct to 3SF. That is according to my graph. Your answer may be different, but it should be almost the same. It depends on your graph, on how well you draw your tangent or your graph. It should be about this value. Now, part 2, what does a gradient represent? So as you can see, gradient is, so when we find gradient, we have to find the height divided by base. The height is what? Is the bacteria divided by time. So basically, that will be the rate of change of bacteria over time. You can say it is the rate of increase. Since the curve is going up, it can be rate of increase of bacteria per hour, because here we have time in hours, so per hour. That should be your answer for part 2. Now for part E, given that the equation of y is equal to this, find the value of k and a. So to find these values, we have to use these points. T equal to 0, y equal to 5. That's your first point. So when t is equal to 0, y is equal to 50. So we have 50 equal to k and a 0. So a power 0 is 1. So k will be 50. That's your first value. K equal to 50. Now, to find the value of a, let's use the second point, which is t equal to 1 when y equal to 150. 1 when y equal to 150. Now, that will be 150 equal to k is 50, a we don't know, and t is 1. So a will be equal to 3. That is your value of k and t. So k and a, that will be 50 and 3. Now for part F, the number of bacteria in another colony is given by this equation. This is the equation of a straight line, right? Part 1, on the same axis, draw a graph to represent the number of bacteria of this colony. So let's do that. So let's say, let's choose 2 points on the line. Let's say when t equal to 0, the value of y was 500. And when t equal to, let's say, 3, the value of y was 2000. So let's plot those points on the graph. the first point will be when t equal to 0, that was 500, and 3, that was 2000, will be right here. So now we have to join those 2 points to see where it cuts the main graph. So this point will be coming to this one. Okay, so let's continue this line to cut the graph, to see where it cuts the graph. As you can see, it will cut the graph at this point. And let's see what is the value. Okay, so let's see what question do we have next. It says, state the value of t when the number of bacteria in each colony is the same. So this is where they are the same, so the value of t will be right here, which is, this is 3.5, so before that will be 3.475. Sorry, 3.47. So let's write this value. So 3.448. According to my graph, it is 3.48 hours. That is my answer, depending on my graph. So your graph may be different. It may be 3.5 or 3.6, and that is okay as well. And that will be your question number 9. Question number 10. A fuel tanker delivers fuel in a cylindrical container of length 9.5 meters and radius 0.8, as you can see on the diagram. Now, after several deliveries, the fuel remaining in the container is shown in this diagram. So here it is your fuel remaining at the bottom of this object. Now AB is horizontal, this is horizontal. O is the center of the cross section, and OAB is 90, this is 90. So the question is, part 1, calculate the curved surface area of the container that is in contact with the fuel. You would see the curved surface area will be the bottom area that is in contact with the fuel. So how would you find the bottom area? You first have to find the length of AB times the length of the container for the surface area. So first, let's find the length of AB. So AB, as you can see, it is the length of arc of this circle. That will be, so AB is the arc length, which is 90 degrees over 360 times 2 pi, r is 0.8. Now that is your arc length. So let's solve and see what we have. That will be 90 divided by 360 times 2 pi times 0.8. That will be 1.2566. Now to find the curved surface area, we have to take AB times the length of the container, which is 9.5. So let's do that. Answer times 9.5. That should be 11.9, correct to 3SF. 11.9 will be your answer for part 1. Now for part 2, calculate the volume of the fuel remaining in the tank. So how do you find volume of a prism? You have to find the area of cross-section times the length. So how would you find this area? So this is area of segment. As you can see, we first have to find the area of sector minus area of triangle. So let's do that. So area of sector, formula will be, angle will be 90 over 360 times pi r square, which is 0.8 square. So 90 over 90 divided by 360 times pi r square, that will be 0.50265. Now what is area of triangle? That will be half of sine, the angle will be 90, times both sides, which is 0.8 and 0.8. Half sine of the angle times 0.8 square, that will be 0.32. So from this you have area of segment. So this is the segment that we need for this container. That will be 0.50265 minus 0.32. That should be 0.185 0.8265. Now, so once you have this area, to find the volume, you have to multiply by the length. So volume should be easy. 0.18265 times 9.5. That should be 1.74. Correct to 3SF. Now for part 3, calculate this volume remaining as a percentage of the volume of the whole container. So pretty easy. How would you find the volume of the whole container? As you can see, this one is a cylinder. So formula will be pi r square h. So what is pi r square h? It is pi r square. H will be 9.5. So let's solve. You will have 9.5 times 0.8 square pi. Let's try again. 19.1. Now for percentage, that will be 1.74 divided by 19.1 times 100 for percentage. That will be 9 point. So we have 9.1%. That is your answer. So let's see, correct to 3SF, so 9.11 for your answer for part 3. Now let's move on to part B. The fuel is pumped through a cylindrical pipe of radius 4.5 at a rate of 300 centimeters per second. Okay. Part 1. Calculate the volume pumped in 1 second. So in 1 second, it moves by 300 centimeters. So let's say in 1 second, this is your pipe. It is a cylinder. And this is your cylinder. And it moves by 300 centimeters, which is, so how do you convert? As we know, 1 meter is 1000 centimeters, so that will be 0.3 meters. So in 1 second, it moves by 0.3 meters. So that will be your length of the pipe that we have in 1 second. Now the radius is equal to 4.5. So we have to find the volume of this, of how much is pumped. So volume is equal to pi r square h. Pi is pi. R square will be, so what is 4.5 divided by 1000? That is, oh, so our answer just needs to be in this, so we don't need to convert. That's okay. We can just use 4.5 square. H will be 300. So that will be pi, so 4.5 square times 300 pi. That is 19, so 19,085. So answer correct to 3SF, that will be 19,100. That will be the volume pumped for this cylinder. Now part 3, calculate the time taken in minutes to pump 25,000 liters of fuel. So as we know, 1 liters is equal to 1000 centimeter cube. So now we have this much, which is 19,100 equal to, I think we should use the exact value. Let's do that. 19,085 centimeter cube is equal to how much liters? Sorry, so here we have 25,000 liters. Okay, we don't need to use that actually, so we can use this one for 1 sec. First we have to convert this to centimeter cube. So 1 liter is this much, so 25,000. That will be times this much, you will have 25 million centimeter cube. Okay, so by converting this, we have this much we need to pump. Now we know that this is pumped in 1 second, so in 1 second we pump this much, so we say that 19,100 is in 1 second. So how much time will it take to pump this much? That will be 25, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 is equal to 1 divided by 191 times 25 million. that is in seconds. So let's do that. 25, 123 divided by answer, that is about 1309.917. So that is in seconds. You have to give your answer correct to the nearest minute. Now we know that 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. So how do you convert seconds to minutes? You have to divide by 60. So answer divided by 60, that will be about 21.83 minutes. So answer correct to the nearest minute, it has to be 22 minutes. So your answer part 2 will be 22 minutes. And that is question number 10. So let's move on to question 11. So on the diagram shows we have triangle A and triangle B. So this is A, this is B. So question part 1, describe fully the single transformation that maps A onto B. So how can we move A to B? So by observation you will see that this is not a translation, this is not a rotation, this is not an enlargement, this is not a reflection. So remaining we have two possibilities. It can be a stretch or it can be a shear. So let's check if it is a stretch or not. So let's say part 1, assume it is a stretch. So we assume that it is a stretch. Now we can check if that is true or not. So let's say, for example, if it was a stretch, let's use this point. So this point, it is 1 from the y-axis. So this point became this point, it is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 became 4. So the stretch factor has to be 4 for these 2 points. Now next step, this point became this point. Let's check. This is 1, 2, 3. So 3 became 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Became 6. So now we have SF is equal to 6 divided by 3, that is 2. So you can see that these two are not the same. So because they are not consistent, we say that it cannot be a stretch. So in that case, only one is remaining. It has to be a shear. So transformation is a shear. Now we have to find the shear factor. So how do you find the shear factor for this diagram? So let's use this point. So we say this point became this point. So first we begin here. We say this is 1, this is 2, became 1, 2, 3. So shear factor is horizontal distance divided by vertical. In this case, that will be 3 divided by 2. That will be 1.5. So shear factor has to be 1.5, and your invariant line is equal to the x-axis. So it's the line that we count from. So we count 1, 2 from this line. That's why it's called the invariant line, the x-axis. Now we can test to see if that is true for other points. Let's say we use this point. This point became this point. So that will be 1, 2 became 1, 2, 3. So that will be 3 over 2, same value. So that will be the shear factor for this transformation. Now for part 2, find the matrix that represent this transformation. So from practice you will know that if you have a shear with your x-axis as invariant line, it will look like this. It has to be 1, 0, k, 1. That's how your matrix looks like for a shear with your x-axis as your invariant line. So k is equal to your shear factor. So in this case, that will be 1, 0, 1.5, 1. That will be your answer for part 2. 1, 0, 1.5, 1. Now for part B, triangle B is mapped onto triangle C by the transformation represented by this matrix. So from experience, if you would know, this one is a stretch because it is in this form, k, 0, 0, 1, with k as your stretch factor of 2. But if you don't know that, that's okay. You can always use your formula, which is matrix times subject is equal to image. So matrix is this one. So let's do that. Matrix is 2 0, 0, 1. What is your object? Object is triangle B. Let's find the points of triangle B. So here we have 4, 2. Then we have 6, 2. Then we have 12, 6. So let's do that to find the image you will have. So this times this, you will have 8. This times this, you will have 12. And this will be 24. And this times this, you'll have 2, 2, 6. This is your image under this transformation. So let's plot those points. 8, 2 will be right here. 12, 2 will be right here. And 24, 6 will be right here. So let's join those points to find the triangle. This is triangle C. This is your triangle C. Label the triangle. Now this is done. And part E, give the name of this transformation. It will be a stretch with factor of 2. But you don't need to write that, that's enough. Now for part 3, it says the matrix that represents, so we have to find the matrix that represents the inverse transformation that maps C onto B. So from part 2, we know that, from this part, we know that B was mapped onto C by this matrix. So let's call this matrix M. It mapped B onto C. So now we want to find the matrix that maps C onto B. So let's do that. How can we eliminate M? We have to multiply by M inverse. M on both sides, you will have M inverse and C. This is I. That will be B equal to M inverse times C. So in this case, as you can see, we have to multiply C by M inverse to give you B. So we have to find this matrix. So M was given to you in part 1 as 2, 0, 0, 1. So we have to find M inverse. So first we have to find the determinant, which is cross multiply. 2 minus 0 is 2. And we have to find the adjoint matrix of M, which is that will be 1, 2, 0, 0. So M inverse will be 1 over determinant times this matrix. That will be 1, 0, 0, 2. That is answer part 3. Now part 4, find the ratio of the area of C and B. So because we have mapped mapped B onto C by a stretch with stretch factor equal to 2, the ratio of area has to be 1 to 2. But if you don't know this, that's okay. What you can do is you can go back to your graph and find the area of B and C. So again, how do you find area of triangle? You would say area of triangle is half times base times the perpendicular height. So the height is this, which is perpendicular height, right? And same thing here, the height will be this. So for triangle B, what is the base? You would say 1, 2 is the base, and the height is 1, 2, 3, 4. So one by one, you can write. For B, area is half times base was 2, and the perpendicular height was 4. So your value will be 4. Now for triangle C, we do the same steps. The base was 1, 2, 3, 4, and the height was 4 as well. So C was half times base and times height. That should give you 8. Now C to B, C is 8 and B is 4. If you divide by 4 everywhere, you will have 2 to 1. So same as this. So ratio will be 2 to 1. Now for part C, find the matrix that represents the single transformation. So we have to find the matrix that represents this, that maps A onto C. Now, we have seen that from the question. We first had to map A onto B, then B onto C. Now we are trying to find the matrix that maps A onto C. So step by step, how did we map A onto B? We had to multiply by this matrix, which is 1, 0, 1.5, 1, which is this one. That is map A onto B. Now, how do you map B onto C? We have to multiply by the next matrix, which was this one, which is 2, 0, 0, 1. So this combination maps A onto C. So let's solve this. Multiply this rows by column, that will be 2, and rows by column, that should be 3, and same way rows by column, that should be 0, and that should be 1. So your answer is the matrix that does A onto B onto C, that should be 2, 0, 3, 1. And that is your question 11. Now question number 12, part A. So we have a triangle ABC, and we have ABC as 45 and BAC as 65. We have AC is 5 centimeter shorter than BC. For example, let's say BC is equal to X, so AC have to be X minus 5, for example, right? Now we have to show BC is equal to this. So since we know the angles and the angle on the side, we can use your sine rule. So let's say the sine of X, which is BC, over sine of 65 is equal to X minus 5 over sine of 45. So first step is we have to cross multiply. You will have X sine of 45 is equal to X minus 5 times sine of 65. So that should give you what? That will be X sine of 45 is equal to X sine of 65 minus 5 sine of 65. Now let's put X on the same side. You will have X sine of 45 minus X sine of 65 equal to minus 5 sine of 65. So let's switch the position. Let's bring this one over here and this one over here. You will have X sine of 65 minus X sine of 45 equal to 5 sine of 65. Now if you factorize, you will have X sine of 65 minus sine of 45 equal to 5 sine of 65. So finally, X is equal to 5 of 65 over sine of 65 minus sine of 45. This is shown as required. So as we know, X was BC in the first place. So BC is equal to this. Now part 2, find the length. So solve this equation. 5 sine of 65 divided by sine of 65 minus sine of 45. That should be 22.7, correct to 3SF. So 22.7, correct to 3SF. Now let's move on to question part B. So in the triangle PQR, so we have PQR, so moving on to part B, we have in triangle PQR, we have all the sides given to you. We have to find value of cos PRQ. So PRQ is this angle. So how would you find cos PRQ? We have to use your cosine rule. So cos PRQ is equal to 6 square plus 10 square minus 13 square divided by 2 times 6 times 10. So let's simplify. 6 square plus 10 square minus 13 square, that should be minus 33, and the base should be what? 2 times 6 times 10, that should be 120. Now we have to express as a fraction in its lowest term. That will be minus 33 divided by 120, that will be minus 11 over 40. So that will be your answer for part 1, which is minus 11 over 40. Now part 2, hence we have to use this one. Write down the value of cos PRS. Where's PRS? So PRS will be right here. So pretty easy. This one is just the complementary. That will be 11 over 40, the positive value of this. Because if you observe, how do you find this angle? That will be 180 minus this one, which is PRQ. And for cos of 180 minus PRQ is equal to minus cos of PRQ. Now we know cos of PRQ is equal to this, so minus that will be positive 11 over 40. That is pretty easy. Now let's move on to this one, part C. Triangle DEG, so DEG, we don't know where it's G for now, has the same area as this triangle, okay, but is not congruent, means not the same as this triangle. Now we know the point G is lower than DE, and G and EF are the same. Okay, so here we have two conditions. G is lower than E, so it has to be below this line, and it has to be G, which is, we don't know, EF is this length, has to be the same. Okay, let's do that. So in this question we have to use your compass. You first have to measure this length, EF, because we know that EF and EG are the same. So we have to measure that and go to your point E. You have to draw an arc below the line of ED, because we know the point G has to be below the line of ED. It has to be below. Okay, that's good enough. Now we know that the point G lies on this. It can lie at any point on this line, on this arc. Now we have to find the position of G. So how do you find area of triangle? You have to do half times base times height. Now they have the same area, so the base here we can see they have the same base. That is good. Now the height has to be also the same, so we have to measure the perpendicular height. So let's do that. So if you measure, the perpendicular height here is equal to, so according to my drawing it shows to be about 1.4. It means that it has to be 1.4. The height should be 1.4, should be on this one, and should be on this 1.4. Has to be on this line. So let's connect these two dots to form the line that it can be on. Now the point G can be here or it can be here, because these two lines intersect at this point and this point. Now if you put G here, it is exactly congruent to this one, so we cannot put G here, we have to put G at this point. So this will be your triangle EGD, which is this. So that will be EG, and this is equal to this. Now let's confirm. So how would you find area of triangle? You will do half times base, which is ED, times height. The height here is this, and for this one will be half times base, and the height here will be this height, the perpendicular height, which is the same. So your triangle EGD will be this one. Okay, that will be part C. Let's move over to part D. So triangle LMN, we have LMN is 30 and ML is twice of MN. Now question, when the area of triangle is equal to this, find the side of MN. For example, let's say we have triangle MLN. This is my triangle MLN. We know that the angle M is 30, and we know that ML is twice MN. So for example, if let's say MN is equal to X, ML will be 2X. So let's find the value of this one. So how would you find area of triangle? You will do half times sine of the angle times the two sides, which is 2x times x, is equal to 18. So let's see what can we have. in this case, we have to find 2x, right? Because ml is 2x. So let's solve. Sine 30 is equal to half, so sine 30 is half. So let's do that. So half times 2x squared is equal to 18. So if you divide by 2, you will have x squared is equal to 36. The value of x is equal to root of 36, which is 6. So your value of ml is 2x will be 12, and mn is equal to 6. So here we're looking for the value of mn, so your value mn will be 6. That is your answer for part D. And that was the last question of this paper. As always, thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, leave a comment down below, and I will see you soon.